I sit on the right. I'm the right hand of the panel. Welcome everybody, and thank you for enjoying this lovely morning around a cup of coffee and tea and a nice breakfast with a very challenging topic and interesting presentation. Thank you, Annu, for that.
Thank you.
I'll try to keep the time. We are already extended the session over the planned program, but I think we can make it. So I'll want to welcome you and invite you to introduce yourself, a bit about your background, what is your current responsibilities in the position you have right now, and why today's topic was important for you.
Hi, my name is Markus Korhonen. I'm the director of Aalto Studios, and good International Women's Day to everybody here in the audience. In Aalto University, we've decided that we don't have all male panels, and I'm really happy that we don't have one today. Yeah. And so my background is in the media, and why I'm on this panel today, that probably I could date that back to 2009 when I joined Yle, and I came from actually on the doing side myself, where I produced a lot of things before, but at that time in my career I ended up in this strategy project where we defined the technology and production strategy for the whole Yle, and it was really exciting. We were working together with Arto Markku and Pihla Allos, and we were talking about, okay, in 10 years, we did not talk about artificial intelligence yet, but we were talking about the importance of data, for example, how data will be active and passive, and how widely should take advantage of those. And I thought probably that strategy project that I got in 10 years ago, and how we were actually able to think about the future in a good way that really helped the company is the reason why I'm here today and trying to now help Aalto University on the media and digital side in these issues.
Perfect, you already heard from me. So Annu, information networks engineer. And why I'm so excited about this topic today is that I think machine learning and a lot of other new technologies really help us solve some problems that we weren't able to solve before. But that it requires that we really start to focus on where we spend our energy. We simply, as humanity, we cannot waste any more time on solving secondary BS, sorry my language, problems, and really concentrate on the stuff that matters.
Okay, my name is Tuula Ruokonen, and I'm very glad to be here. I'm also an alumni from actually quite a long time. Okay. Women never talk about their age, but I'm the electricity alumni from year 80. And why that is important is that Dean said that you should choose an area to work where you can actually impact the things, and I did. So I actually chose electrical engineering automation because I think that there you can actually impact the different industrial processes which everyone sees as those very unsustainable areas. And I joined that time IVO, Fortum, and we were doing a lot of things already that time. That's why I'm so excited that now we can see those maybe in reality. So before I get into pension, I really hope that all those things we were planning are applied and they are used. And at the moment I'm working for Valmet, and I see that also as a big potential that technology companies who are actually globally serving all big industrial customers, we actually can make a difference there, that we make, as Wärtsilä was mentioned in Annu's presentation as a case, we can do better, we can have more efficient machinery, we can do things more efficiently in our own operations, but especially in the customer's business, and create even new bioproducts to them. So I'm really excited about this, and I have to say that I'm also interested in this algorithm you are having, because cognitive analytics is the new stuff what we are very much looking, and of course other machine learning methods too. So glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Timo Seppälä, and as was introduced, I work as a professor of practice for digital operations, teaching operations management and operation management project courses for the bachelor level students. I have annually roughly 300 students going through my courses. I have a background in industry, used to work for some 20 years in the industry, doing different type of things. My sort of specialties are global value chain analysis and new technology implementations for the companies. And I think that one thing over here, or why I'm interested in digitalization, I started my career with IBM, big computers, and now we see sort of a bit more smaller computers in our hands. However, many of these things that when we talk about digitalization or some other topics like AI doesn't exist. There is no AI, and there is not going to be AI for the next tens of years. And so basically, I like the words that people over here in the panel are using. They are using terms machine learning, data analytics, advanced statistical methods, because those are really the tools that companies are using today, and not AI. So there is a lot of these buzzwords that companies, especially the consulting companies, tend to use today, and people just focus. And for me, AI, for example, or machine learning, it is one of the hundreds of or thousands of technologies that companies can use. And well, let's build a realistic perspective within every company that what these technologies are all about, and I think that's where we can, at Aalto, we can help everybody.
Thank you. And I think I will start on the other end now with a question. And I would like to hear your opinion about Annu's presentation. And I've particularly saw some body language expression when Annu mentioned the new algorithm of understanding and classify causal relationships. So I'm very interested to know why was that so strong, and well, have you seen something? And based on your current research, do you have some statements or strong statements to say regarding that?
Well, basically, within the science for the last year, there has been a discussion when using neural networks. And basically there is a reproducibility crisis right now in the science when it comes to using deep learning and neural networks. We cannot repeat all those good things that what we have considered that are great innovations, because actually the people don't have access to the code, they don't have access to the data, and basically my sort of or what I have been basically saying about that companies should not be using neural networks at all when it comes to their business, because we cannot see what is happening behind the neural networks. There is no way to trace things through these systems. We don't know actually what is happening within those systems.
Would you have an example so we can put it more in practice?
Well, basically, we don't know how the neural networks are making their decisions. So I think that is a huge problem, and we cannot rely on the results what the neural networks are producing to the world. I think that is a discussion that is currently we are having within the science when it comes to using neural networks, and therefore I have not sort of I cannot give that as a recommendation for any company or public sector to proceed into that direction. I know that people are working and companies are working on the methods to provide the visibility, to provide the traceability for these systems, but currently there is no way to do that. And that was basically my reaction. I know that the neural networks are creating great results, but there is a reproducibility crisis right now when it comes to these technologies, and that needs to be solved. It is a question of time. It is a question of time.
So there is hope.
And we don't know exactly that when it will happen, that we will have all these methodologies available.
I actually agree with this, because I have been doing both model-based, so meaning that it's based on processes and process knowledge, that type of modeling, and I have been doing neural network modeling, which is kind of a black box still. And it depends. For pattern recognition, it's a very good tool, because there you have the patterns known and you can teach them. But then the question is that when you have more variability and you don't actually know, then it is a black box. But I think this kind of hybrid models, we are using that kind of thing. So we utilize our process knowledge and the knowledge what we know about the systems, and we combine it also. So it's very important to know which method to use. And really, I agree with you 100%.
Okay. Timo, any other special notes that you want to add to Annu's presentation or thoughts? Or?
Yeah, I think that when it comes to artificial intelligence as such, currently in the research, we are in the stage or there was a article from MIT Technology Review in the end of January saying that the era of machine learning and deep learning is coming to an end. And we don't know what comes next. The scientists do not know what comes after machine learning and deep learning. And so there is a huge fight over that what are the next things on this agenda. And the second thing is that we don't know that if the approach that we are considering machine learning and deep learning, is it the right one to solve the questions related to artificial intelligence. So I think that there is a sort of a second point. We don't know if this will lead, the track that we have started, if it will lead into artificial intelligence. So that's why I hate the word artificial intelligence, because we really do not know what it is.
Okay, but time will tell, I guess. So like we've learned in agile world, you do something, you put it out there, then you see what happens, then you address the next thing. So we'll just need to be prepared and trust our intelligence that we are
but these
having.
Things take time.
Yeah.
10 of years, 20 of years, 30 years, 40 years, we don't know.
Okay. Tuula, what about your opinion? I think you have a lot to say. I see a big smile.
Yeah.
Some ideas must probably come to your mind already.
Yeah, actually,
share with us.
both from the method side, I was very interested, because, of course, we have the situation that we have a lot of knowledge and data in our company, and how to utilize that. So there we come to the cognitive analytics. But then I think that what of course touched me was that we are very much similar company as Wärtsilä is, and we have been working with kind of sustainability indices a lot, because we want to develop, and of course there is the internal view, and then there is this customer or the, let's say, the effect to the value chain in general. We have been using, for example, Dow Jones Index, and we are one of the 350 companies which are there, and we have been there 4 years. So I really am very proud of our sustainability results. But I'm still willing to offer Valmet as one case to Annu's research, especially when I heard that UPM also is there, so we could actually make a value chain study on it. So I'm very glad that these kind of methods are used.
So Finland first.
Yeah, Finland first.
Okay. Annu, do you have anything to add on top of your presentation that you would like to open as a discussion?
No, maybe just as a comment to the methodology discussion. I think my viewpoint on this is a little bit different, coming from a very pragmatic question of not so much. My question is not like, where are neural networks today? Where are this and this technologies today? It is about, if we have a problem that we have an urgency to solve, I think it is our obligation to use all possible technologies and all possible solutions to try and solve them. For neural networks, I very much have been thinking about the same topics a lot, as you can imagine, in our team of engineers. There are smart and stupid ways of using machine learning and neural networks. I would like to emphasize that instead of just saying neural networks work or don't work. I agree with all the AI like hype stuff, which is total bullshit, and that's why I never even mention that we use AI. We just talk about, we do like ATK-juttuja. We do like stuff with computers, because most of the thing is just common sense mathematics. And the neural network is helping us in 2 points of the process. Right now, the neural network in these 2 cases is the best way that we have found to solve this problem. We're very pragmatic in terms of what we're trying to achieve, instead of debating what technology works and what doesn't. What drives us is the mission to really produce better data. In terms of using neural networks in a smart way, what we, for example, very concretely do to your concerns is that we don't just like leave it and say, something happened. What we do every day is first of all, we look at all of these causalities. We didn't just build something and then like, it might work. But we work every day with very smart engineers to see when it actually catches the causality, when it doesn't catch the causality. The whole mathematics of what it then says about a company is totally human-built algorithms. The only thing that is actually done by the machine learning is the way of speeding up the process of reading the articles, which I think is a very pragmatic use case for a neural network. And all the time looking at what this is saying about the biggest freshwater users in this and this industry, how does this correlate with data published by the OECD, by academic research, by Harvard, by the UN datasets and so on. And we all the time use this kind of outside sanity checking. We don't just like make a magic box and see what comes out of it. But I agree with you, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of bullshit around, but I don't think we as humanity can afford to just not use neural networks because we don't yet know how they work, totally. We have to use everything in our capability, and especially we who have the ability to use mathematics as a tool in our thinking. I think it's up to us to really develop these things and do it in a very responsible way.
I think that you need to understand the weaknesses of such systems, and
of
you
course.
need to control the weaknesses.
Yes.
And that's how. So, and of course that when we are implementing neural networks to learn, to test, but I have not sort of seen those systems come live yet in many of the cases.
I invite you to get to know our neural network of causality reading better. I'm
So
happy to give you a demo.
There's the next meeting coming up.
Yes.
Actually. Okay.
Challenges on.
We're looking for the update. Markus, how about your media industry and the topic, or like, is there any correlation and impact and importance you see?
No, definitely. Media industry is extremely data reliant. So there are like a lot of different touch points where machine learning and all kinds of data analysis methods can be used. Obviously, we know the impact. Everybody here in the audience knows the impact of Netflix. Started their video streaming service in 2008, 10 years ago. And we could talk about how they platform model compared to tube model in the business models, but Netflix is really a data company. Already was when they started like doing their video rental service 10 years earlier than that. They analyzed which kind of topics were the ones that people actually would always rent out. So they had a totally different type of model for the business, which was centered around data. And then data models are all around the media production. Let's say computer vision is one. It's something that a Finnish company called Valossa, for example, based in Oulu, is recognizing the media content and flagging it out for major content or violence, and doing all these sorts of things for different media companies all around the world. Or then tagging images with computer vision for the editorial process, or using these kind of machine learning methods to actually create low-end content, like from image banks centered around certain subjects, so that you can very cheaply, newspapers are creating just very simple Instagram videos and stories where they automatically take images from image banks, automatically add graphics to those, automatically add music to those. Then you have some music composing, low-end music composing again, used with automated tools and data analytics. So it's actually all different ways, from the initial media production then to delivering content, personalized content to each individual customer. So it has totally actually changed the whole business, and we'll keep doing it.
So how do you see the impact of Annu's project, for example, for a media company? Would they have to react really fast or start to be scared of? Because I think their impact is huge toward human race and psychological and even more implications from the societal. So I think somebody coming with a measurement there will make them think twice or even more.
Hopefully. I'd say it that way, hopefully, and people need to start thinking not just often it's how we can get this to the customer most effectively, how we can monetize this the best, how we can increase our margins. Then there's what, and then after the what there will be why. How will this make our lives better, which is really what that's all about. So I'd say hopefully, and when media companies get more data kind of intensive, obviously, these ecological footprints of the data centers and all these sorts of things has to be considered. And if there are scientific methods, again, I was commenting to Jouko that, okay, I want to see under the hood of that thing. I want to see that, okay, this is the outcome, and now I would like to see the article about that cola. I want to get those 20 articles that you guys pulled off, and I want to read and check them, and so that to see how it actually works. But
you just call Alexa; she does it for you.
You can actually do that on our website to see the articles that it's based on.
Okay.
Yes, in a demo tool. So the whole point is
Fantastic.
for you to see the articles with your human eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to ask, the audience if there are any questions, and I see some eager people, which is like, yay! I'm very happy for you. So we can start with the lady in the back.
Hello, my name is Katri Juling, and I've been in contact with Annu before. But I would like to ask Annu, do you have an opinion about how the business model should look like in the future? For companies using maybe this media output, like based on whatever?
Obviously, there are lots of different business models, but if I understood your question correctly, I would say that how it changes the thinking of executive teams, or how I hope it will change the thinking of executive teams, is to really start to think about what are the products and the services in which we are already creating a net positive value, and then concentrating on those products and services in the traditional same ways we already know, then tweaking the how for those. So for example, very concretely, when we work with larger companies, now there's two public references that have already been mentioned. So for example, UPM and Nokia, two Finnish large companies. The whole idea and the thinking behind it is that we start to first look at all of their businesses. We see where they are in terms of what they try to achieve, in terms of their strategic goals for fighting climate change and so on. I mean, identify which businesses and which product groups are at the moment kind of like performing better and which are performing worse. And the whole idea in the business model is to concentrate on the ones that are already net positive, just keep doing what you're doing and just develop them further, and also just boost their sales. And for the products or services groups that are looking more problematic for their values at the moment, think about what is the choice to be done. Is there something we can do to improve their impact? So basically, you can minimize, decrease the minuses or grow new pluses, or grow the pluses, basically. And then, is it something that we can improve? Is it something we should divest and maybe let go of at some point? And where is it going if this and this pressure get from the side of our investors, from our employees, from our consumers and customers, get larger and larger? What are the solutions that we should be making? So in terms of business model, and then for companies that are starting up, it's more about building a company around a product that is inherently does something that makes sense. And it puts more pressure on, for example, let's say professional services companies and their business model, where they're like, hey, we work with our clients. The product is not IT consulting. The product is, and the impact is determined by who your clients are and what are you helping them to do. If you're helping net negative companies just do more of the same faster, your own impact is net negative. If you're doing the same for net positive, it's a good thing. If you're helping the net negative companies become more positive or change their strategic direction, then that's obviously a good thing as well. So I think this offers, in terms of business models, these are obviously things that already a lot of owners are thinking about, but could potentially just offer a frame for thinking, among many other great frames, of course.
Is there any, I mean, there must be somebody doing the similar thing that you are doing in the world. Have you checked out?
Yeah, of course. So when I started to do this, I decided I'm going to find the 6 best, or actually 10 best net impact quantification projects globally. That's why I went to Silicon Valley, and then choose the one that I believe the most in and go work for there for free for 6 months. I couldn't find any project that was quantitatively measuring in an automatic way both the pluses and the minuses at the same time over all the impacts. We still haven't found. We made a lot of public calls to find it in the academic circles. There's a lot of, obviously there's a lot of amazing projects, some in the investment scene concentrating on some of particular impacts, some concentrating on some other areas, but really quantitatively like bringing together the pluses and the minuses in an automated way, we haven't yet found. But that's one of our goals, is to get more competitors. Because in order for this problem to be solved, we need a lot of challenging. I mean, you need a lot of other solutions as well. Also to overcome the questions about our methodology, it works in our advantage as well to have other people trying to do the same.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you so much, Annu, and all of you distinguished panelists, for this amazingly interesting discussion. My name is Tilman Bauer. I'm a doctoral student at Aalto University School of Business, Organization and Management Department, Philosophy of Management Unit. So I'm doing philosophical research, basically about this. Now, philosophical research is quite on the other end of the scale. If you guys are numbers people, I'm, let's say, somewhere else. And I am so inspired by all, I think, Markus, you mentioned that you are a doer. Is it you who said it, right? And I think all of you mentioned doing at least once. And I'm so inspired by it. Of course, you have some very profound thinking behind your doing. I limit myself just to thinking. And I would like to comment. The one key word which is missing from this discussion thus far, and which is my research topic, is peace. Because peace is, according to my research, the only non-religious concept that is large enough to encompass the substance of any positive impact. So my research questions range from how can business foster peace to the question, what is the purpose of business? And the hypothesis that I hope I will be able to prove in my monograph is that the purpose of any business in the world is to foster peace. And now if I look at your presentation, Annu, great, but what is missing is this idea that we have to get away from this idea of profit maximization. It was implicit, but not explicit. And there are still today many people in the world who believe that Milton Friedman is right when he said in the 1960s that the business of business is business, or that the purpose of business is to maximize returns for shareholders. Now, so my research academically is to try to prove Milton Friedman wrong, and what I try to do is to conclude, not only in this comment but also in my research, that the purpose and the role of profits is to enable doing good or fostering peace. Just lastly, Annu, I mentioned to you before the presentation that I would like to talk with you, and I mentioned it now already publicly. The Stanford, because this is, I think, maybe relevant for many of you, the Stanford University Peace Innovation Lab, you know it already, the founder and director, Mark Nelson, works also in things in this direction. So I think anybody who's interested in this should check out the Stanford Peace Innovation Lab. Thank you.
Okay, so should I take from that I know from audience that everybody came here for inspiration and ideas of how would this change the world. Let's take as a point that the direction should be to have a peace, and all the business will contribute to that and be sustainable. So what ideas do you have, or how do you see, for example, Valmet can already say from the company standpoint of what are the plans and strategies to go there, or if it aligns or somehow contributes to the peace?
Thank you for the comment. It was very interesting from many perspectives, and I fully agree that the purpose of the company and the purpose for the people who are working for the company, especially when we think about the future with the young millennium people, for example, it's really, really important. And I started to think that how do we see it in Valmet, because we do have, our vision is to serve our customers the best way, and I think that to really be able to do that, to get investments to our company, we need to show success also from financial point of view, at least at the moment. So that is, I think that's obvious, and I think this peace, it comes from the thing that people will be satisfied, and there will be somehow a balance of things, and I think what Annu is doing is real. The criteria there is very much towards that direction, and I hope that will be the result. But have to think about it a bit more. I guess that's part of the philosophy also, that you don't have the answers straight away. But thank you for the comment.
Markus, how about the Aalto Studios that, you know, you're making a media center of the future? So how would that, well, how this digitalization is going to look like, and if Annu's going to come and run her stats on you, then how it's going to look like, and how the piece situation would be.
So as I said, I'm a doer. So let's take a concrete example. But unfortunately, my faith in human is less than yours. But I try my best. So we're working together now, led by Philip Dean, from the head of media department, where we are creating a joint project with Yle, who I used to work for, and we are looking into elections. Not the elections like in a month, because that would be too little time, but the next elections that comes in 2 years. And we were really talking about how we would combine wireless data and data from the Geographical Institute and all these sorts of things, and we would do all sorts of with the use of data analysis and machine learning. We would do, and visualizations. We would do we would create this the guard dog of democracy. How that would bite the politicians in the at the backside. And then we actually started really thinking in these terms that, okay, what are we doing here, and why are we doing it? And it was Vijay Rupesh, who was a professor in the media department, who actually jolted us all out of this negative thinking where we actually are making the world a worse place by making these politicians to stand against one another, and we would give them tools to batch the other people about lying and how they did not keep their promises. And he said that we should aim for, taking all the data and trying to create a vision that we could not see, with just like human analysis, we could not go through enough of that data, but with them, we could recognize patterns that we could point out where we could actually see possibilities, trying to get out of this doldrum and darknet that seems to go into our politics, but go across the party lines and show through data analysis this kind of potentials where we can actually really make Finland and make the world a better place through these elections. So that's an example of what we are trying to do in Aalto University.
So there's no escape room. What about research? How research is going to contribute to this, and if there's any further topics or new topics or any phenomenon that you already start to shape that would need attention, and it's connected with all these changes happening.
Yeah, I was just about to comment your saying that it's all about peace. When I used to work in the industry, it was all about war. And so there is a conflict, great conflict on that, because I remember that we were establishing war rooms and to make faster decisions, and so I think that companies want to live in the war type of an environment more than in a peace type of an environment, because then nothing happens. It's not dynamic. It is very static. And I don't know that if we want to live in that type of a world, that there is a world peace or peace. I think that war is much better in that sense.
Yeah.
Because then we cannot we cannot argue on things.
And winning the competitor.
I cannot beat you on the discussion. So I don't know if I want that as a human. And so there is a big and it's going to be a big a philosophical debate on that where is the balance? And I think that where's the balance of everything? Using AI, there is a balance. Using blockchains, there is a balance. Using different type of business models that are sustainable, that are not sustainable, there is a balance. Everywhere there is a balance of two opposite dimensions.
Very quickly.
Just a quick reaction. Unfortunately for you, unfortunately for me, facts are on my side. First of all, just a couple of examples. I could talk about this for hours. Your company, or many companies, excluding certain industries, but for most industries, the companies wouldn't be able to operate in a situation of war. Secondly, companies, according to the old business, the old way of doing business, companies perhaps experience war-like situations. But do they really want? How much burnouts? How much stress? How much negative energy do we have? Lastly, and I could give many more examples, but actually you mentioned balance. One of the many definitions of peace is a balance of powers, a balance of energies, a balance of dynamics. And one last comment. If you look at world history, then there has been much more peace than war. This is actually counterintuitive because we just hear about the wars. Because the pieces, and this is correct to use peace in plural, the pieces are not reported on. Thank you.
I think we'll have to take that after. Yeah, we are already 1 minute over time, so I'll try to wrap it up. Do we have some more questions? No?
There was one really...
Okay, so one more question and then we'll close and we'll thank you.
Hi, my name is Romeo Cupido. I'm a published author. Annu, I really admire the fact that you went to the United States and you went to learn, because my mentor is Jay Abrams. And I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's a 9.6 billion man to date with zero education, self-taught. And entrepreneurship, of course, it means skills, experience. And I remember many years ago, when I first came to Finland, I was a dreamer. So I was told to go dream elsewhere. And that's what I did. I went to go dream elsewhere. So my question to Marcus, my life story book is now being handled by a Hollywood producer that had received a movie deal. And you know Netflix and the advertisements and the things and modifications that in the last centuries have changed and evolved and developed. So I do know, Annu, that we need tools, we need technology. But if you want to speak, like I've been interviewed and the host said to me that you have zero experience to write a book. And I told him that who better to write a book than me that had the experience and can relate to people, because I'm talking about life. And that's what entrepreneurship is that we evolve skills for people to create methods so they help themselves. And recently, when I came back from South Africa, I was completely appalled with how things have gone backwards, and we need to step forward. So my question is, I need to go outside to go find collaborations, and yes, I get them, because I'm very challenged with taking initiative, make the effort, take a chance, and look for ways to create accolades. That's what I do. So businesses, are they interested to listen to people so they can get collaborations, form collaborations, because that's what drives us, develop and raise opportunities for others.
Okay. Couple of examples. Obviously, if we talk about Hollywood, it's about 60% of the productions that actually break even. So it's very kind of an. You need to invest a lot of money, and you're really not sure that you're going to get it back. And so that's the reason why they are producing so many sequels. They think that, okay, when we're producing this RoboCop 13.6, we're more likely to make our money back. And luckily, because we're talking about machine learning today, so for example, hopefully, machine learning is one of the things that will help for, these kind of media business decision makers to take more risks by being able to analyze. For example, there is this called of Scriptbook.io, which is a screenplay analysis software, which is analyzing from the script the possibility of and forecasting if that's going to be successful or not. So hopefully we can see in Finland, when you talk about machine learning and all these sorts of things to artists here, they would be often terrified, which is unfortunate, because from our cultural perspective, we just see that, okay, we don't want to have that technology interfering artistic or creative process. But when it's in the Hollywood, and then all of a sudden maybe you can think, okay, maybe with this tool, people are then willing to take more risks, and we actually get more unique ideas published as well. So hopefully we can use also these types of tools to enable different types of stories and different type of people to be able to come forward.
Yeah, one comment to your speech. Our type of company, who is pretty traditional, we have a long 200 years of background, and that's good and that's bad in some things. And the bad thing is maybe that we are very well structured and we are not having this kind of a way to innovate as the small entrepreneurs have. And we are working quite a lot with startup companies now, and I hope that you all read from the newspaper that actually those companies need these big companies to be the way how they can also grow besides, of course, their own growth, of course. But the thing is that I think that is very important that we are learning also from that culture and trying to at least utilize that and hopefully even create to be a more innovative company than we are already now with the traditional means. So that was at least one thing which came to my mind on this one.
Is that connected to a new business model?
Yeah, and we quite often call them like solution ecosystems, what we are creating, and really actively doing that now, and really serving that way also our customers better. Yeah.
Okay, very fast because I was asked. You mentioned you have a small question.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got it answered. Okay, well, it was an interesting discussion and very different points of view. I was trying to see if we can come to a common, but I think you all had your own challenges and your own passion towards something, which was very, very inspiring. So, as to new ways of doing business, what I understand, and yes, there is a new business model starting to mix and maybe lead toward more collaborative way of working. Big companies with startups, with other third parties, even for short-term projects, start to be more responsible in a data-driven way. So it's not only marketing and fluffy words, but more facts-oriented, research-based. Research area is still a bit short on how the future is going to look like. You know, I know scientists wants to know the data, be sure of the things, 1 + 1 = 2. In this case, I think 1 + future = boom. So we don't know. We just need to keep being agile, learn, develop, I guess. Media, it has a important impact, and not only on entertainment, as I hear anymore. So it will start to drive social impact, economics, bringing and making the data visual for every citizen to understand and be able to bring his opinion and be heard. With this, I want to thank you very much. The pen, I took a lot of notes for myself also. And today is Women's Day, so it's a pleasure to see so many women around here and have in our panel. So this time it's a very distributed opinion also. And I welcome Susanna to say the final words. Thank you.
I would like to thank Aalto Studios for filming this presentation and panel. It will be seen in Aalto Alumni Circle and also on Aalto YouTube channel later. So keep informed about those. And first of all, I want to thank all the panelists and Viorica for this interesting topic, which will definitely continue in one way or another. So go and check our calendar of events at Aalto website. We have more than 500 open lectures and other interesting events. Welcome to those, and welcome especially to our June event where you can be doers yourself and impact the world. Thank you.